Without you, I got way too much at stake. Ooh, I just can't wait. You know I can't wait. You pull up on me, so much on my plate. Can't live without you, so you know I'll never skate. Ooh, I can't. No, there ain't no other way. I can't. I can't wait for you to come prove me wrong. If I wait on you, I know it won't be long. But you know I can't take another day without I might break. Hold up, wait, let me cool it. All these blessings you got for me, I be too lit. Yeah, and you say it ain't nothing to it. The way you do, the way you do it. How many times have I called and you come through? So many times you forgave what I done you. Highs and lows, but I'm the one you chose. That's why I keep running back to you, oh God. And I can't wait till you pull up on me, so much on my day. Can't live without you, I got way too much at stake. Ooh, I just can't wait. You know I.
Testing 1 2 1 2. Testing 1 1 2 2. Welcome to Brando Radio Show. Yo, what is happening, everybody? Welcome to Brando Radio Show. I am B Snow. I am the creative director for Faith God Radio Network, as well as the executive producer of the show. And I'm really excited about this interview in particular. We've had some amazing interviews throughout Black History Month. Happy Black History, by the way, to everybody who has been rocking with us for the full month of February. I honestly have really been, man, it's been a thing, bro. Like it's really been a thing as far as like having guests on that really means a lot to me. For the first week, we had DJ Deke, aka Brian Gray. That man literally knew me since I was like 9. Then you got Grayson, who recently met, maybe about a few years ago, and he's really been just an encouragement to me. Now you got the man. Yo, like when I tell y'all, this is gonna be an entirely different interview. This is a person who literally holds nothing back when talking to me, like man to man. And I have had times where I was like, all right, okay, I don't really, all right. But then like as a grown man, you really sometimes when you ain't doing the stuff that you're supposed to be doing, you need tough talks. And this dude right here is not afraid to do them tough talks. Now, Marques Carroll is more than just a musician. He is kind of like, for me, a staple of what it means to be proud to be Black, and also to know about like how to actually influence younger people. He has known me for, like I said in the post, if y'all saw, 14 years. This man has known me for 14. So you talking like baby Snow. Like, look, and he in the background smiling because the whole time I'm like, yo, like 14? Yeah. And honestly, like he really just got me to where I am now, where like my work ethic, even now that I'm building on it day by day, even when we don't like talk like that, like now, whenever I reach out, whenever he reaches out, it'd be a thing, man. So I'm really grateful for him. So we're gonna bring up Marques Carroll pretty soon. But first, I want to get the things, the young things that we do on here in the way. We don't say out the way because it's really important. But yeah, let's go ahead and go into it. First off, if you are not following us, follow us on all social media platforms. That is f2g.network, which is a full conglomerate of everything that we do. We got f2g.radio, f2g.ent, which is our entertainment company, where we do live events and we do virtual events as well. And then we got F2G apparel that we have coming up. Listen, when we release this stuff, get on it. Like when I say get on that thing, because they're going to sell out pretty quick. So I'm pretty sure like y'all ain't gonna really have that much time to do so. So when we do and we announce it, make sure that you turn on your notifications whenever we drop specific purchases and also different discounts. And then also make sure you guys are going to patreon.com/F2G. Patreon is pretty much a spot where like you get to create art, and the people that really rock with you heavy, they come in and they be like, hey, we see your potential, we see your vision, let's support it. And part of that is the creators are able to give back. So you get content, free content, you get early access to stuff that don't nobody else have access to, and you get behind the looks. Like there's a lot of stuff on there. So tune into patreon.com/F2G. And also, this show here exists every Monday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, and then it replays Thursdays at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I want to really, it's the fact that I have a radio show. Like, let's keep it a book, and I have to remind y'all about what we do here. Part of what we do is that we create a space for people who really are trying to find consistency, trying to find focus, trying to find balance. We have real conversations here, and we have guests that have real conversations with us as well. So, you feel me? Yeah, we in for a good one today. All right. Right now we are listening to Kent by Jordan Armstrong. And this man is just incredible. He actually released a project called, I think it's Church of Girls Love R&B, which is a whole a whole thing, which is, I mean, the whole thing is doing incredible. But yeah, what else in here? Green light special. Hey, look, listen, there's a whole vibe with the green light. Y'all know my favorite color is between green, orange, and then we got black. So I had to do a whole thing with it. But yeah, what you doing if you're not following us? Period. Because Amber Jones is the whole time the chief operations officer for the full Faithful God Network. So if you're not following us, you need to get on it whole time. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get this right. Not only do I have the honor of bringing this man on, but I have the opportunity to have conversation with him that I really believe, for the people who are listening here on Facebook and YouTube, as well as on f2gradio.net, I have the opportunity to introduce somebody who really laid the foundation. So anybody else who's like taught me stuff and like instructed me, this man here laid the foundation. So let's get into it. Let's welcome onto the stage Mr. Marques Carroll. Yo, what's happening, man?
What's up, man? I gotta make sure I send you a paycheck for that introduction.
Hey, listen, I got EMI, I got Cash App, I got Zelle. No, man. How are you,
bro? I'm good, man. I'm a little bit more rested. I had a long day yesterday, but I'm back in the classroom actually. I don't think you knew that.
Oh, you already?
Huh?
You back already?
Yeah, I took this year off to focus on my own music career, man. I literally I left CJA after 15 years. I created my own music production company, a record label. I did everything, and it was a fruitful year. And then I was like, man, I'm missing this piece. I'm fighting. There's an internal fight that I was having with myself about my music career, and also the thing I also enjoy doing, which is teaching, which I never thought I actually enjoy teaching the way I do. It's a lot of work, that, it's not easy being in a classroom trying to help shape young minds. But I reached back out to CJ to do some sub work. I was like, yeah, I can come back for 3 days a week. And then it turned into, well, we're losing another teacher. Could you go full time? And I was like, ooh, I don't know about all that. And then, so I am. So I'm teaching English actually to 8th grade. And we're diving deep, man. And it's dope. I feel great. I'm just tired. It's a lot of work, man, on top of like a big schedule. And yesterday, one of my homies came through from New Orleans, and I've yet to meet him I've met him in person, but we haven't played. Let's put it that way. And he was like, I'm in town on a layover. Who's trying to hang? And I was like, oh, dude, come on over to the house, man. And so he came over and we played trumpet, man, for like 3 hours, man. And then I went to the showcase and sat in with a friend of mine, Isaiah Collier and the Chosen Few. And then I went down to Norman. I went down to Norman's on 43rd and hit a jam session, and topped off the night at the Punch House over in Pilsen. So I'm like, I'm gonna sleep in today.
Look, well rested. You sound very well rested, actually.
Yeah, I got a little rest today. So that's why I called you. I was like, what time am I supposed to be on this thing today? I thought it was 2:00. So got up freaking out. I was like, oh man, I don't want to miss this.
Man, look, I'm actually glad that you're on, man. Like the fact you sound good. I'm for everybody who don't know, this man literally like just like clockwork, be working, literally grinding for him, grinding for his family. But to hear you rested, bro, like
Yeah, yeah.
that's a different vibe.
I'm gonna get off of this though, and then I gotta get right back to it. I'm like, I'm writing some music. I got 3 shows this week that I gotta get ready for. I gotta do lesson planning for the following week. It's like it's
Oh,
not it's it's I don't call it grinding anymore, man. I live daily. I really
mhm,
live. I live every day as if it's my last time I'm gonna be here.
man.
I don't. It's not that I don't prepare for my future, because I'm thinking about that a lot. I'll be 44 this year, and I'm not that old, but I'm at a halfway.
Nah, you old, you old. But
I'm
go ahead and say you old, doc.
I'm at a halfway point in my opinion of like, okay, so how do I want to live out the next 20, 30, 40 years,
Yeah.
And so I lost some friends along the way of this pandemic. Uh, and then just we've lost a lot of ancestors to the music I enjoy playing. Some people call it jazz music, y'all. So if you want to understand, I don't use that term. I don't believe in it. I call it Black American music. Sometimes people call it Black classical American music. But I'm not a big fan of just saying it's just jazz because there's some history behind that I don't agree with. So,
Mm,
needless to say, we've lost a lot of great people uh, that I didn't know directly, but definitely had an impact on me as a musician. And so when you start seeing that happen, living daily becomes try to have fun and yet still be productive. It's a very important piece. My partner, she would say, try to do 2 things: one that you got to do, and one that you want to do in that day, and then let the chips fall. You know what I'm saying? Like, because to be honest, like if you are stewing about some things that need to be done like tomorrow and you don't get to it, like beating yourself up about it is not gonna help. Because bro, you might not wake up tomorrow, and then you stewed for what? That don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. It just doesn't. It's like make a plan, try to get as much as you can, eat something that you really want to eat that day that's not gonna mess you up. Call somebody that you ain't talked to in a while. Like it's those little things, man. Like I played my daughter, although she's almost 12 and like in that preteen area of like not trying to be involved with her parents, which is funny. We went to the park the other day and she asked me to play tag and I was like, let's do it.
yeah.
She had me running around this park the other day.
Yo,
And that, that's those are memories, man. I ain't never gonna forget that.
man,
That's what it's about.
bro. And it's a thing, man. Like, just that's kind of something that like I've slowly learned to is like you really got to think of it as treat yourself well daily. So even if you have opportunities to work or you got to do something, treat yourself well. I think honestly, like right now, coming out where people feel like we coming out of the pandemic, or certain people feel like we're still in it. The thing of it is, you, at this point, everything's been leveled. So at this point, with that being said, if you're going to be doing something or even creating something, part of that should be creating space to have peace. Part of that
Yeah.
should be creating space to have joy. Like if you ain't experienced that on a daily, something's happening. Like you got to recheck that. Man. So
Man, it's funny you bring that up. I feel for people who have lost loved ones during this time.
mm,
Because it's heavy, it amazes me how folks are catching it and at an alarming rate yet still, and you got folks that don't believe in it. I'm not gonna mask up, I'm not getting back, to each his own, right? From a metaphysical or metaphorical, however you want to call it, to look at it, to me, man, we was already in a pandemic. It's like when you think about this, man, it's like when somebody has a heart attack, it's not that it just happens out of nowhere. There's stuff building up that causes your body to kind of be like, all right, I'm at the boiling point, right? as a society, man, we have been tipping. I'm going to be a little bit more conscious about what I'm saying about in American society, but society as a whole. We've been tipping, man. We've been pushing the envelope, so to speak, man. And it's like this when the pandemic first happened, and everybody want to call it a pandemic. You call it what you want, man. Mother Nature breathed, man. Everything stopped. Do you remember the first week or two when this thing hit and everybody had to be inside?
Don't remind me of that because I
No,
got
no,
scared.
no. Man, that was a beautiful moment, man. I stepped outside one day and I was like, man, it is quiet. It was
You're right.
the earth took a deep breath like it undid its pants after a Thanksgiving feast. You know what I'm saying? It literally was just like, man, all right, y'all inside. I'm about to go ahead and breathe a bit. You had nature started breathing again. Animals came out. I mean, it was some wild stuff, man. And for some people it was like they got to like look at themselves for the first time. It was like it gave everybody a chance to pause and look at themselves, hopefully, right? And do some growing. Like, and that could be in your career, it could be in your relationship, it could be your personal thing. Like I took that time, I was bedridden for the first month, literally, because I had 3 herniated discs in my back. I didn't want to
I
play.
remember that.
I didn't play no trumpet for like 3 or 4 months. I didn't. I was like, I don't want to do nothing. I was in a state of depression where I was like, dude, this sucks. And then like something happened. I started writing music again. I started getting more just like, man, okay, this is the time. And I had made a decision I was going to leave teaching at that time too. I was like, I'm ready to just step out. And I had a partner, my partner was going, she supported, she's like, you need to do this. And I was like, all right, when's the next time I'm going to get to
Yeah,
do when? You know what I'm saying? And it's like everybody lives, like we got to make a financial living. I get that. We have to support ourselves. But then it's like, at what cost? Like if you're in a space where you are not happy, then do something about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that takes hard work. It takes consistency. There are going to be some lows and there's going to be some good highs as well. You know what I'm saying? But like you got to make a decision. You know what I'm saying? This quote unquote pandemic has been nothing for me but a blessing. I got a chance to grow in ways I never thought I'd grow. And I'm you know what I'm saying? It's like
bro.
that's the beautiful part about it. Like, don't look at it as being like, oh my God, I lost this. Okay, I'm not talking about our loved ones, but just in general, like maybe I lost my gig or like musicians, they crack me up.
And
Musicians are funny because musicians are like within 24 hours, they were done. Within 24 hours,
bro, oh yeah,
musicians and people in the entertainment industry were done within 24 hours. It was like watching a domino, you set up them little dominoes and they all fall, right? It was like cats were like, man, the next couple of months my gigs are gone. Man, now summer's gone. I'm like, bro, you need to go ahead, sit down and focus on some other things because you're gonna be here for a while. You know what I'm saying? And so then for me, this time was about me figuring out why do I do this? Why do I play music? Is it because I make money doing this? Because I make a decent living doing this? Or is it because I love it? And why do I love it? You know what I'm saying? It got me back into figuring out why I enjoy making and creating. And it also got me to accept myself as the artist that I am and where I'm at as a musician. I'm not Wynton Marsalis. I'm not supposed to be. I'm Marques Carroll. I'm not Nicholas Payton. I'm not Miles Davis. I'm not none of these cats. These are all people that you got Miles behind me. These are people that have influenced me, right?
mm-hmm.
Quote unquote, kind of inspired me. But at the end of the day, the pandemic was like, dude, you are you. So
Mm-hmm.
why do you do this? And I create music and art because I want people to feel good and I also want people to be challenged because I create stuff around the what I see in everyday life. My record that I release is all about the struggle of what we have faced as people, but also pulling back on the strength of our black ancestors. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Slavery. Like I want people to grapple with that. People continue not wanting to grapple with the history that we and the life we've all inherited. We've inherited this. We ain't created, but we inherited it. So what are we going to do about it? That's my thing. Like, what is the action that people are going to do? We can talk all day long about what's wrong, or we can do something about it. So for me, my role in this life time right now is to bring awareness and challenge folks and challenge myself into being what we call change agents, right?
Mhm.
That's the goal for me. I figured that out and I've accepted that. That's why teaching is important and mentoring for me is important, because if I'm not doing it, then who is?
All time.
Who's going to step up? Because people complain. People love to complain. I complain. We all like to complain. But who's actually stepping up and doing some work? What is your gift? What are you doing with it? That was what this thing did for me, man. I was like, all right, I know exactly what I need to be doing. So which I'm serious, and it pushed me back into the classroom because I think that's an important piece. There's not a
Yeah.
lot of brothers out here or sisters teaching in the classroom area. That is an important piece for our younger brothers and sisters, man. Our Latinx friends and Muslim friends or rape. Like, I'm not trying to exclude one people, but we need more of us being in front of our own, helping us out.
Real talk. And you've been saying that from jump. Like when thinking back to like sixth grade, seventh grade, I remember I was inside of your office. I was hanging out inside of your office. I think that was when I was actually auditioning for either Jeez Louise. No, this was sixth grade because I was auditioning for trombone. So I was
You was a good trombone. You was a good trombone player too, actually.
yeah, man, it was a thing, bro. I was having fun with that thing. Like I remember,
Right.
honestly, I was making like car sounds with it during the soloing session. It was the whole thing. But nah, like thinking back then, you was like telling us like, "Yo, I'm not here just to be here. I'm here because I believe that we need more of us here. Like we need more of us here present so that you guys can have an actual example of somebody who's come from where you came from, making it and being able to lead other people out the same way somebody has done for us already. So even
Right.
from that, like, hearing from you, it even doing stuff like this where listeners are hearing about being able to take this time that some people would count as, oh my God, like in so much turmoil, or even just like everything is like my whole idea of who I was going. You got to optimize your time. You've been given a break to be able to reset and to be able to fall back into play. At least knowing more confidently who you are.
Yeah.
So
I think that's an important. I'm all on that, man. I believe I agree with you on that. I think it's though it's funny, man. I mean, a lot of just to give some people the background. I was born in L.A. actually, because my mom, who was a very young mother, she was 16 when she had me, and my daddy was 20. So she was like hiding her pregnancy with me from everybody. I was not a plan.
hey,
I was not a plan from them, but I was a plan from God. You feel what I'm saying? And so I was born in LA, but raised in St. Louis. And I was, we didn't grow up the way I am now. I'll put it this way. It's like we grew up on food stamps, man. My folks did the best they could. We had a lot of help from my grandparents. Uh, you know, I grew up in kind of like what they call the county area of St. Louis. So I didn't. It wasn't like we was, you know, impoverished, but we weren't. We made do. But I
yeah,
listened to I grew up around a bunch of old people. So like I hung out with my grandfather and his friends, like them old dudes. That's where I get, my love for like learning about life and my blackness and my just understanding who I am as a black man came from them dudes. Cause I'd sit there sipping on sodas and chips, eating chips and candy and just like listening to what they was talking about, man. And my grandfather he mentored young people too. He was a World War II veteran, Korean War, worked for the government. He was a trumpet player. He was friends with Clark Terry, which was dope. And he ran it. He was in this drum and bugle corps called Tom Powell Post that helped young people in St. Louis in the urban communities get music in their life to get off the streets. Literally, you know what I'm saying? Like when my grandfather died, man, I played at his memorial, and it was like, maybe 20, 30 old black people, man, men and women standing and saluting as I'm playing this song. And when I got done, they was like, if it hadn't been for your grandfather, I would have been dead or in jail. And my grandfather was
Man.
a short little light skinned brother that had no fear. He'd go up to a dude twice his size he was teaching, and he wasn't getting it right, man. He'd get up on him. And I'm just like, okay. Because he
Man.
saw the good in these people, man, these young folks. He saw that they just needed somebody to help them realize their potential. And I think I get that naturally from him because I saw it and I grew up around it. And he instilled it in me. He's like, you can do what you want to do, but just make sure I don't want to say he ever said pay it forward, but he's just like, this is how we are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I've always been very blunt, if you want to say that, with any young person I'm working with. I don't care how old they are, man. I don't baby, like I nurture young folks, but man, like I don't allow foolishness. Like you can't keep operating. I know it's a different time, but it's not. Y'all might operate differently in 2022 as a young person, but man, being a human being and doing what's right is forever. So you
That,
can't, you know what I'm saying? So you can't be up, you can't get up in the morning and act a fool and expect good results. Like being in the
right.
classroom right now, I told you I'm teaching English, right? I
Hmm.
got I got these young people. When I took over the class, we jumped into a new curriculum, and so I got them reading this book about Claudette Colvin. You know who Claudette Colvin was?
I heard that name before, and I'm trying to figure out where I heard it from.
Welcome to Black History Month, right? And by the way, I
Wait a
heard what
minute,
you said. I call it Black History Year. I don't need a month to celebrate my people.
dog.
I
All
don't. I
right, so
don't.
from
I
now
don't.
on, we're gonna
And
black.
it's listen, and it's cool. It's cool that I forget who the man was that kind of started Black History Month. I get the celebration. I understand why you chose February, the shortest month of the year, is beyond me. But I don't need a month for somebody to give me permission or tell me it's now we're going to celebrate the great achievements of black people. Let alone the people that we continue to celebrate are always Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks. Like I'm like, dog, there's so many great
Yeah.
people that have contributed, and there's been great things that have happened, and there's been tragic things that have happened. I think, if you're going to use this time to understand the history and then do something about it. Move forward. Like
Mhm.
move forward. Stop. We don't need another slave movie. We don't need another, like they're remaking Color
Uh,
Purple for what? What y'all
they
doing?
remaking color.
Dog,
No,
come on, bro.
no,
Like we
no.
don't need that. What we need
Mm-mm.
is, being able to educate our own, move forward, inspire our own, move forward. Like that's, put art programs back into these schools for our young brothers and sisters. That it is a proven fact that if young people have things, not just sports, but specifically the arts, they have another way and another outlet of expressing themselves.
Yeah.
And that type of learning also encourage, not only, I don't want to use the word encourage, it actually aids and helps in your academic portion of your life. It's
Man.
proven. There's
Yeah.
data about it. You know what I'm saying? So I'll get back. This Claudette Colvin, man, she was the first woman, honestly, 9 months before Rosa Parks got, supposedly everybody. I was brought up to believe it was Rosa Parks didn't give up her seat to this white lady, so then the boycott happened. That ain't what happened, bro.
Mhm.
Claudette Colvin, age 15, Montgomery, Alabama, studied. She got to high school and had a teacher named Miss Nesbitt, Geraldine Nesbitt, who was taught by this woman, Joanne Robinson, who was a professor at, excuse me, at Alabama State, I believe, uh, something like that. And so Claudine Claudette Colvin, uh, started to kind of realize she was getting tired of seeing what was happening. There was a student that she went to school with named Jeremiah Reeves who was wrongfully convicted of raping a white woman back in 1954, 55, or something like that. It's a major case. They gave this young brother a jury of his peers. All right. You feel what I'm saying? Like, there wasn't no black people in this jury. Jury of his
There was
peers.
no black.
Dog. And he was convicted. And they put this brother on death row and waited till he was old enough and executed him. And it was a forced confession. It's the same as you watch about Emmett Till. Emmett Till, the white lady who said, which, on her deathbed was like, I lied about it. Really? Oh, okay. You're going to wait.
Why you wait to write?
So Claudette, man, did not give her seat up. And she was like, I'm done. We ain't dealing with this no more. I'm paraphrasing, but she's like, I'm tired of all this. So she decided not to give up her seat and was arrested. And she went to court. They had a trial about it. She was found guilty. And this is when Martin Luther King finally came on the scene for real on it. This was his political debut, was Claudette. All right. He was 26. Claudette was 15. She was a little darker. She was also kind of more militant. I heard at some point she also got pregnant, maybe around 16. That's not the face of the movement that you want. Funny thing is, Rosa Parks knew Claudette's mother. Rosa Parks worked for the chapter of NAACP and she was a seamstress. So in my thinking, when Claudette's situation happened, that's when everybody's like, we great boycott. Because the woman Joanne Robinson, they had a sit down with the people of the manager of the bus company and the city and the mayor, was like, if y'all don't get these things fixed, we got 3 demands, and if they ain't met, we great boycott. This is before Rosa. So then 9 months later, Rosa don't give up her seat. Now she's the face. Everybody's all Rosa Parks. I'm not saying that she didn't have anything to do with it, but man, teach the history. Stop
the full history.
Stop. Like, it's President's Day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why am I celebrating? Why are we celebrating? Why? I'm trying to be right on. I'm trying to be right on your show. So
no, I feel you, bro.
I'm catching myself because you know me, so I'm gonna catch myself. But my thing is this: how are we celebrating, and why do we continue to celebrate these people that were just ultimately in their core weren't great folks? Why we got to look at what comedian said, our dollar, he said our money looked like baseball cards with slave owners on
them. I don't know if that was
it was like,
either Eddie Murphy or Dave Chappelle.
No, it wasn't. It was either, I think it was Cat Williams possibly. But I mean, when you think about this, man, right? And y'all have a hard time putting who they put on the back of the nickel. Who they put somebody, was it Maya Angelou's on the back of the quarter, something like that, or the back of the nickel? Come on, dog. Really?
Look, put her on the back of 50.
I'm just saying, man, we are so, and I'm saying we as a country, all right? We as an American society is so messed up. Y'all are so bent on not giving black people credit at all. Y'all stole the entire culture. You have raped this entire black culture, America. You have raped it. You have pillaged it. You have torn it apart. And you cannot give credit where credit is due, which is crazy to me. But we want to celebrate Abraham Lincoln. The reason why that brother signed them papers to abolish slavery, because it was a financial thing. It had nothing. He just like all of them owned slaves. And we're not talking like slavery in Africa, which was in what they call in servitude. That's a different type of slavery. These colonials had a whole nother thing. They had hatred. They dehumanized black culture and then stole it. You look around, man, I done traveled about 30 plus countries, homie. Plus. And every time I go somewhere, I hear hip hop. I hear jazz music. I hear people try to copy it. I see people try to wear the style. That did not come from Europe. It didn't come from Russia. It didn't come from China. It didn't come from India. It didn't come from Australia. It came from America, which was built off the backs of black folks. Not saying that other folks didn't have a hand in it, but our culture, man, we are the foundation of it. You cannot have blues, you cannot have rock and roll without blues and jazz, which comes from what? Field house.
Literally.
They come from field houses. Our folks. You can't have gospel music without it. You can't have
Not at
alternative
all.
music. You can't have country music without it. So how are you gonna celebrate? Like they gonna say Elvis Presley was the king of rock and roll? Boy, come on now, come on, come on, come on.
Whoa!
Even in the movie, hold up, even in their own personal movie, Forrest Gump, when homeboy is watching Elvis, the quote unquote Elvis Presley, he was stealing
Yeah,
ideas from other cats. They even show it in the movie. They even tell it on themselves.
man.
Like that's how aware I try to be, man. I'm not trying to be pro-black. I am literally trying to like grapple with the fact that I come from some really beautiful history. I come from
Yeah,
some really strong, amazing people, man, that laid the foundation for me.
yeah.
I would be doing these folks a disservice by not honoring them by being the best I can be, upholding what they created, and then even pushing forward, and then holding those right now accountable for what they do. You feel me?
I feel you 100%.
That's
Like,
that's what it's about. Like it, I won't probably see it in my lifetime, but it would be amazing. It would be amazing to see the dismantlement of this entire system. We live, we live in
and
we live in a think about it, bro. We live in a country where we are governed by laws and a constitution that was written by whom? Folks that were slave owners that were protecting their own. We are governed as an entire society, governed by a constitution. I want y'all to think about this as I'm saying this. Governed by a constitution and laws that were written by white men, not women, just white men that wanted to protect their own. You had some across the board that was like, yeah, we need to make sure everybody has equal rights and liberty for all. Really? Are you truly wanting that? Because when you look at these laws that were used to govern and protect their own personal agenda and assets, including assets of black people, you feel what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
we're still governed by those same laws and ideology. So when you talk about if we go deep into understanding systemic racism, man, the folks who are white right now that have inherited their privilege and the money that's been passed down and the power that's been passed down, that can only be broken, right, until we dismantle this doctrine that governs us all unfairly and unjustly.
man. That's
That's that's like, okay, so yeah, you saying all that. So how do we do that? Right? Everybody's got a role to play. You know what I'm saying? That's like when young people wake up, all right? And I don't want to sound like an old person, but when young people think about, I'm being serious, man. Like they got to think about this because these things are governing you. Man, you probably will outlive me. What kind of society you trying to live in? What kind of society, what kind of politicians do you want making laws for you that you have to live by if you choose to stay in this country? Because it's different elsewhere. They got their own
it's
set of
mad
problems.
different everywhere else.
And they got their own set of problems. But this country that we live in, that we choose to stay in, has to change. And that takes upon us supporting, like if you got somebody that you're gonna bring on the radio show that's a brother or a sister, that's going for office or something, man, promote them. Get their name. That is, young people need to get active in this society and stop, get off this, use social media to your advantage, but don't live your life by it. You know what I'm saying? Don't let social media dictate how you live, man, and how you view life. And cryptocurrency, I'm gonna make my money real quick. Ooh, no, you're not. No, you're not.
No,
No, you're not.
look, say that again, man. Look,
No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? Oh,
man.
no, listen. The problem is that old folks, they didn't experience some things and they have a different perspective because they have a little bit more longer life on this planet than you. So how we see things is going to be completely different. Doesn't disregard your life neither. I'm not saying that, at all. Because y'all the ones, when I talk with young folks, I'm like, man, y'all the ones shaping it.
Whole
You know
time.
what I'm saying? But are you going to allow looking at somebody's page and be like, ooh, that's where I got to be? Like, for real?
You wasting time, dude. You wasting mad time. Like you should be doing a lot more. Like that's the crazy thing. I think when we think about the whole thing of even being in a situation where young people are pretty much seen as the next generation. That's what any type of time period. If you think about 2007, when you got kids, they're like, oh man, we need to do this for the youth. But it's better for us to be, first of all, knowledgeable first. If we do anything, we should be knowledgeable about what's happening with politicians, which a lot of people don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
And ain't nobody really trying to talk about politicians because part of it is like you don't really want to offend somebody, but how can you even get anywhere if you don't risk offense first? It's conversation. You can't if you're saying I just want to have my good life, be on Instagram, get popping, and then dip out. You that's a little selfish.
Yeah.
It's a little bit selfish.
Yeah, people don't I don't see people helping one another anymore. You know, I just don't. It's I help when I can, financially or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Giving a clinic or helping young folks. Like I do my part. And it I don't see a lot of people doing that all the time, and that's sad. We have moved into a society of really it's all about me, which is really messed up because it's not. The pandemic hopefully showed you that it's not just about you. Because if it was just about you, then you would have been outside. You know what I'm saying? Like
Look,
it's about everybody. Everybody was on lockdown. You know,
man,
it's about everybody inclusion and moving together. Respect. We can disagree, man. That's the thing about it. People want to call it what we live in democracy. Man, life is a democracy, bro. Listen, everybody's not going to agree with everything. We're not going to agree how to make an apple pie. We're not going to agree how to get from point A to point B. But at least we should respect each other's opinions about it. You know what I'm saying? And entertain, like maybe my way is not the best way. You know what I'm saying? That's
your
like
way honestly been the best way for me. I ain't got no
no,
complaints.
no. I'm not even gonna agree with that. Because like even working with you, man, it's been like, so for folks to understand, like I saw this little cat. Oh, by the way, I got a drummer right now. He sixth grade out playing you, bro.
Yo, real?
Dude, this little cat been playing drums since he was 3 at church, man. And I heard this cat a couple of weeks ago. I was like, dang. And I got them playing, and I'm not teaching them just how to swing right now. We playing groove funk stuff. And this cat is bad. I'm like,
Oh
sixth
no, I
grade.
gotta I gotta come up there, bro. I gotta come up
Aaron
there.
Richardson, man. I was like, wow. But it's funny because I
Nah,
remember you when I first met you, I was like, man, this little cat can play some drums. And the music is what brought you into the space of being in that school, to be honest. Like a lot of cats that I've worked with at that school, like if they didn't have the music, y'all would have checked out even a long time ago. It was like y'all space of being able to stay connected. But it also
yeah,
gave you time to work with me, and I would push on y'all about just like it's not just about this music thing. You got to get this education, take advantage. Here's a school that you might not agree with what they do there, but they got resources, and they're trying to give you a extra just some help to be able to have a fighting chance. I mean, let's be honest, man. We're young black men in this country that has a very short shelf life. I've never seen it like this. Even when I was coming up, man, it was like when I came up, you got into some stuff. It was like this. You know what I'm saying?
yo,
I was at I left the little spot last night after this jam session. I was with my buddy. We was down in Pilsen, right off of 18th and Racine. As soon as we was talking a
mm.
little bit, and all I hear is pop, 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 pop. I was like, those are not fireworks. Check you later.
Those are
That's
shots, dog.
oh, listen, I done lived here long enough to know when I know when I'm hearing a semi-automatic, and I know when I'm hearing a Glock. You know what I'm saying? So I
Look,
was like,
man.
about to pop in the car, catch y'all later. I'm not even sticking around for all this. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Dog.
that that type of mentality is wild to me, where it's like you you got that much disregard for human life, and you got so much disregard for your own personal life. Like that's where our young people are at right now. And I'm going, and when I say young, I'm going to say from teenage to probably mid 20s, to be honest, right? I don't hear about too many 30-year-olds kind of popping off like they used to. It's a broad spectrum, but you got about 10, 15 years, and there are people who are just not, they don't care. Why? Why don't you care? Did you not have somebody that saw something in you that was great? Because everybody's got greatness, man. Everybody. We're How can you not? You're a beautiful spirit, man. You know me, I'm a spiritual dude. I'm not religious, I'm spiritual,
Dog.
right? Everybody
Mhm.
has a gift that they're supposed to nourish, grow, and share with the entire world. Everybody. And for some reason, call it, maybe it's trauma, maybe, you know what I'm saying, on whatever level it may be, that has kind of, put that flame out, and you get just kind of complacent. And so it's just like, whatever. That's what I see across the board right now. And I'm like, that's that mentality. Once again, my action step is to try to help enlighten the young brothers and sisters I get to work with, and those who are not, especially my Caucasian friends. I love helping them out. I'm like, yo, y'all got to wake up too, because
Uh-huh.
you can't just act a certain kind of way and turn your cheek in your eyes as if this is not affecting you, or it doesn't pertain to you, because it very much pertains to you as it does to me. You have a
Yep.
responsibility to teach your kids that they ain't privileged.
Oh,
you
he's
have a
like a
responsibility.
mouth.
You have a responsibility to lend a hand, whereas some people might not be able to lend a hand. You have a responsibility not to judge right away, and we as black folks got to do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's called being a good human.
Oh,
That's the stuff I
look.
was. That's the stuff I tried to instill in y'all cats, and you specifically. It was funny. It's funny, like, work with you, and then watch you go off to school, high school, and it's like, how's he doing? He's struggling. I'm like, man, what is wrong with this brother? Like, you have no. Listen, you had. We gonna get real. It's like, when I would
Yeah.
hear what you were struggling with, I'm like, why is this? The brother is so talented, and he is just not. There's no motivation to, like, do what he knows he's supposed to do. And at some point, I'm gonna tell you, at some point, it's like, you gotta. I've learned to not continue to push, because it frustrates me, and it burns up my energy. I'm
No.
being dead serious. You have no idea. Like, I lost at the end of my tenure at that school. I had two guys on. I worked in CP. You know that, because you was working with me, and I can't
Yeah.
name names because I'm not going to be disrespectful this way. But I had two young men I was working with, and one just wouldn't listen. Just would not listen at all. And I finally, I don't want to say I gave up, but I was like, what else am I supposed to do? I don't know where this brother is today. I really don't. I hope he's okay. But he's also a father. I was like, bro, you have a real responsibility, because now you got a young man that you have to raise, and what kind of uh you know man are you showing him to be? And then the other brother, he he died young, 19 maybe. That broke me. I didn't cry. I didn't have no tears. I was disappointed. I know that might sound bad, but I was disappointed. I was like, bro, like, I gave you so much. I gave you I gave you everything I had to help you see your self-worth, to not pull yourself out your community, but be better, to actually enhance and better your community, wherever that might be. Like, I gave you everything, and you chose to do some dumb stuff. Man, I don't want to see it. So it's like, when I saw you go in your path, it's like, man, okay. That's his path. He gonna have to learn. You're gonna learn today.
Look,
You
look, real
know, and
talk, and I learned heavy. I learned
I
heavy,
know
man.
you
Because
are.
honestly, like keeping it like a full 100 for me, being inside of school, I took it as like, oh man, I'm around so many people, and I'm excited to be here. It took me what up until last year, middle of last year, to figure out like, yo, if I had the opportunity to do that stuff over again, it would be a whole different. It would hold a whole different thing.
You ain't supposed to though. That's the thing about it. Like, there's, you know how many mistakes I've made in my life, bro, that I continue to make, where I'm like,
I ain't
if
gonna even try to count it.
right, and I'm like, if I went down that road of saying, wish I coulda, shoulda, woulda, and if I had, and blah blah blah, that's not the man. That is not the journey. That is not the path that God and this universe laid out for me. Everything happened. It's divinity, my man. Everything that God and this universe has placed in front of me. The path, like we walking down this road, and then we be like, I want to go over here for a second because I know I'm supposed to be over here. And there might be something great that happens, but it pushes you back. Then you go over here, and then there's a catastrophe. Something bad happens, and then it pushes you back. You are like, if we can learn to just trust this right here,
Yeah.
instead of being pulled with desire over here, whatever it may be. Because, but those are learning pieces. These other things over here, the learning, that's what we learn. So we can't go. There's no why go backwards. I wish I could have. No, what did you learn from that? Like, cause you were man. When I came over there and heard you at UIC, I was like, man, this brother playing. Hey, okay. I ain't never heard you play like that. I'm serious. I was like, oh snap, okay, shoot, huh. And not to see you not take that seriously though, in that school setting, I was like, man, because I checked up on you. I got too many birdies around this city, especially in that school. I was like, how's he doing? He's like, man. I'm like, yep, I know. And it's like you can't beat yourself from that up because of that. You got to look at that and say, well, okay, I was there. What did I learn from that situation? You know what I'm saying? Did I learn that maybe school wasn't for me? Maybe it's
Which is
for
what you told me from the jump. Which is
I'm,
like, well,
I'm not, man. I don't. I'm not saying that college is the be all end all,
and
right? I don't think it's the thing that we need to be like, I got to go to high school, I got to go to college, and then I'm going to live this life, and then I'm going to work, and then I'm going to retire, and then I'm going to die. No, son. No, that's dumb. That's dumb. When my brother didn't finish school, all right? He didn't finish college. My dad has an associate's degree. He didn't get a bachelor's. I'm the only one in my household, brother, with a bachelor's and a master's degree and still paying off that debt. You feel me?
yeah.
I ain't getting that money. I'm gonna be gone. But it's funny to me because I look at my brother, he's 37 and he's successful, man. He's got a beautiful son. He's a gay black man. You know what I'm saying? Like living his best life. Love him. He's in PR in LA. He's working on a Netflix deal for a show. He's VP of a
Yo,
PR firm. This is a brother without a degree that figured it out because he was determined. You know what I'm saying? And he knows he took things that made him grow. See, to me, man, there is college education, which is great. That's cool. But then there's life education. That's more that to me, that's worth more than any degree that you'll ever get. And that's why I've taught young folks as I was doing the CP work, I was like, you shouldn't be in college. This ain't for you. But you need to have some goals and some plans. What is your interest? All right. And until if you don't know what it is, and this is stuff I told you, I was like, well, if you know what it is, you still need to get a job. You got to make money. You
I
got
didn't
to.
even want to do that, bro. Like I was
Yeah, I
really
know.
just like,
Oh, I know. Trust me.
hey, listen, look, it took me. Now, hear me. It took me a year to get a job, or even just be like, all right, let me just apply.
Listen, let me tell y'all about Brandon Snow. Brandon Snow, if you call Brandon Snow and he didn't call you back, you knew he was running. And then he pop up on the scene about a month. He pop up on the scene about a month or two later, be like, "Hey, Mr. Carroll, how you doing?" Like, okay, you didn't lick your wounds because you know, Brandon. I deal with depression. Brandon also has he deals with this stuff, man. He's got it. It
Yeah.
happens. All of us do, man. Like, you'd be lying if you didn't, man. You are not being truthful to yourself if you don't admit that you struggle. We all
Yep.
struggle. The thing is, if you struggling though, and you go into these ways of dealing with it that are toxic, you're gonna be there for a while. You might not be able to pull yourself out. And so I knew your pattern. I knew your pattern when you was a shorty, but as you got to become a young man, I was like, I definitely saw the pattern. I was like, I'll hear from him in a couple of months. I'll talk with him soon. You know, like he's not on no
That's messed
criminal.
up,
I
bro.
I don't have to look. I don't have to go to Cook County and look you up, knowing I know he ain't at 26 in California. I know that.
Oh
I know,
no.
you know what I'm saying?
Nope.
Like, I know you that ain't your route, but you go into
That ain't.
you go introvert. You be like, ugh, you know, and I'm like, all right, he'll be back out, you know. But that's the thing. Like at some point though, man, like where you at? Like when you hit me up, I was like, so what is this for? What you doing? Like you still ain't told me too much about like where your life is at right now. But what I do know is that it's like, you know, you're going to continue to grow and build when you continue to challenge yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like into
Yeah.
your genius. You're an amazing producer. You're a people person. You know, you are constantly pushing. You know what I'm saying? And I see that more now than when you were younger. Like there's a like, you know, and I'm going to continue to challenge you as a man now to dive deeper into your, you know, your authentic self, those skills that you have and your passion that you love, and bring that to light more.
Yeah.
Because when you do that, man, it starts raining on you. All the good, man. It's just you're gonna have to put an umbrella up because it's too much. I'm being serious, man. Like that's the truth. Like I can sit here. I was going through some financial woes, and I was like, man, I gotta figure out how I'm gonna navigate this year and coming up and things I need to do. And then the CJA thing popped up. I was like, okay. And then this clinic thing came up. I was like, oh, that's another $2,000 there. And then this other thing popped up. That's $3,000 there. It's like, and I'm saying these numbers because it's funny to me because I didn't ask for it. I was just thinking, okay, what do I need to do? And let me just put it out there. You know what I'm saying? Let me just mentally. And then things just boom, 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 boom. And now I have to be like, how much of that am I going to take on? That's where for
Mm.
me, because like go read Will Smith's book if you haven't. It's dope.
Oh, I'm definitely going.
Read,
I was.
oh no,
Yeah.
read. Listen, I like to read. I got plenty of books. I just don't finish a lot of books because I get distracted. That's it. I'm going to be
It's
honest
the
with
same
myself.
thing.
I have this thing where I'm like, well, I'm going to read this, and I get into it. I'm like, all right, good, all right, you go to sleep. You know,
Man,
I
look.
start listening to audio books when I'm in the car because I'm in the car a lot. But with
Mhm.
this particular book, I couldn't put it down, man. I read that thing in about 3 or 4 days, about 400 pages. I couldn't put it down. And I was
Oh,
like, because I saw so much of his life in my life and how his dad brought him up. My grandfather was a workaholic. My dad's a workaholic. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but this is what men do. We work, you know, we provide. This is like boom. And it's not that I don't see them, as my granddad would say, he's like, just, you know, you ask him how you doing, he's like, well, it's just, you know, I'm good, just doing what I got to do. And it's like, no, 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 no. I want to break that cycle as a man of my household, where like, yes, I'm working, but I'm not grinding. I change up my words where it's like I'm creating, because when I'm creating, I get more joy out of it.
man.
When I'm grinding, it's just like, man, what happens when you get done? You tired as hell. I don't want to.
Yeah, legit.
I want to be creating today. I want to get up. You know, I got my music. I'm creating today. I'm writing. You know, I'm not gonna spend all day doing them. I'm gonna definitely take a couple of hours to work on that. I'm
Yeah.
creating something today. You know what I'm saying? Even when I'm cleaning up my house, I'm creating a beautiful space so I feel good. Like grinding is a whole, man. I changed that up. You know, so this
Man.
book is really dope because he talks a lot about just his success, how he got there, but he talks about this one thing that his dad, I don't want to spoil it, but it's like his dad he owned his own business, ice business. And his store that he had, this brick wall needed to be replaced. So he made Will Smith and his son, his brother, tear this wall down and rebuild it. He's like, I'm not hiring somebody, y'all can do it. And they would it took he said it took them about a year to rebuild this brick wall, and they would get frustrated about it, kind of upset they got to rebuild this wall. And he talks about how his dad one day said, stop worrying about trying to fix this entire wall and think about one brick at a time, laying one brick at a time. And I was like, man, come on, dog. I said on that, man, I was like, go ahead,
Right.
preach. Laying one brick. I mean, honestly, man, it's like lay one brick at a time. What does that mean to you? It's going to mean something different for everybody. But I really believe, man, it's like, let me just handle this one thing today. Not worrying about it getting done, being preoccupied with, I don't have enough resources. I don't have, when people say they don't have, I laugh. I really do. I really laugh about it because if you were to pick up this device that everybody has, what Android, iPhone, whatever you have, everybody's got one. And inside that, you have contacts. And I guarantee you, inside your contacts list is at least 5 people that will support what you need. At least 5. And I'm talking about like, man, I got this business idea and I don't have this. Let me call these 5 people. Because check it out. Those 5 people also have 5 people. That's 25 people right now.
Mm.
They have, it just keeps building and building. You have a network. The thing
Yeah.
is that we stop, and I'm saying this because, and you know me, man, but what I realize is that when I told you or any of the other students I work with something, I had to check myself. Am I doing what I'm telling them? And so that changed that this pandemic was great for me too, because I checked myself. I was like, man, I got to do what I keep telling these kids. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like following your passions and your dreams about things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like you got to continue to not make excuses because that's the easy route. The excuse route is easy, and that lane is filled up. It's really filled up. There's a lot of folks there. It's like bumper cars right now. Everybody got an excuse. I can't do this because of this, and I can't do this because I don't have this. It's like, bro, you got it. It's right there. It just the thing is
Yeah.
that we make excuses because we want it right away, instant gratification. We want it right away. Come on, bro. Come on. Takes time, man. It takes time for greatness to happen. I look at I'm a Bulls fan from St. Louis because we had no basketball team. Grew up watching Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan didn't win no championship when he first came out.
Real
Took
talk.
him took him time. Took him time. But see, we see this is the problem for me when I look at social media. This is the problem. Folks look at that as their litmus test. That if I'm not doing this, and I'm gonna tell you, bro, as an artist, I look at my friends who play. Here's some names that you might not know. Keon Harold, that's a friend of mine that I grew up with in St. Louis. Keon is a killer trumpet player. He not only played, he was Jay-Z's trumpet player. His ex-wife was with Beyonce. This dude is
Um,
hooked up with Common, Bilal. Like he is not only technically, what folks would call a jazz trumpet player, but he's all over the place with Nas, every Mac Miller, everybody. And I
yeah.
look at that brother, and I'm gonna tell you something, man. Like that's family. Every time I get a chance to see him or just talk with him, it's just love. You know what I'm saying? And at some point, though, I would look at his shit. Excuse me, pardon my language. I look at his stuff, and I'd be like, man, what am I doing? And then I had to get to the point, be like, but that's not me. He's doing that. What am I supposed to be doing? My buddy Marques Hill, another great trumpet player. It's real easy for us to look at other people's stuff from the outside, and I'll use the cliche term of the grass is greener on the side. It's not. Like that's their life, and their success didn't happen overnight either. So
Real.
you've got to determine like what is your own personal success? What do you want to do? And do you have the patience to be creative every day to reach those goals? Those are some of the things we talked about when we started working together when I was in CP. I was like, what's your goals? What are the
So
action
no.
steps you're taking to get to those goals? I think if people are going to walk away with something, I mean, the things that I passed down to you, man, it's like if you can treat your life like a Fortune 500 company does, you're gonna see some mad stuff happening. A Fortune 500,
Man,
listen, Fortune 500 company does what? They live off of these quarterly goals, right? Like you look at it, here's our quarterly statement. When you think about that, what are they doing? They're checking to see, well, here's what we did. Oh, we're down. We're losing money. So we got to, what do we not do? Right? Or, man, this was our most profitable quarter yet. I think about that yearly now and have been for a while. I'm like, all right, what am I doing in these first 3 months? I mean, you see my board in the back. I got, it's like, this is
yeah, I'm
my,
still on that board, man. Like, hold
my,
on, I'm
my
taking that board.
woman, my woman inspired me to do that because it's like, dude, all right, I got to think about this. Like quarterly, what do I want to achieve in the first quarter? The first quarter of this year is almost over with, bro. What have you
Man,
done? What have you done in the first quarter? By the end of March, that's your first quarter. So all these people who might be watching that do these New Year's resolutions, stop, stop. They don't work.
please.
They haven't worked. They haven't worked since you learned what the word is. Doesn't work. It does not work. You don't never come up. Don't ever. Please stop with the New Year's resolution. You feel me?
Yeah,
It's not about that. It's about you looking at your life and saying, okay, what am I trying to achieve? Do I want financial freedom? How am I going to do that? What ways can I achieve financial freedom? I side hustle as an entrepreneur doing this. I'm passionate about. I want to make change here. It's not a quick get rich scheme. I had one of our alums. He was like, "I'm going to open up a liquor store." I was like, "Really? Hey, for what?" It's going to make money. It was like, so you want to poison your community to get paid? Okay.
yo,
I mean, it's
like, all
like,
right.
I mean, really? That's what you want? Man, I like a nice glass of water like the next man, but come on, bro. Like that's you couldn't
Um,
put up a grocery store? You couldn't put in a juice bar? Like there's so many other things you could have done to help out your community on top of actually making money.
um,
I'm just saying, like these are the things I think about. So it's a quarterly goal. What are you doing? And then the next quarter, next quarter, next quarter. Those are things you remember. I told you. We wrote it out. We Google Doc that. That's what I
oh,
mean. Seriously, you know.
man, I'm telling y'all, like, for me, I can sit here for hours, and we've
Oh,
done that, like, legit. But hold on, like, dog, oh man, yeah, okay. I gotta keep going because I almost went into a tangent the whole time. But now, like, with everything that you said, it's
hmm
I think the main thing is not stuff just to get a book or doing something just to get some sort of degree or like
yeah,
do it because you have a life goal. Like it took me a minute. Like even going to UIC days for me, I was trying to do music production then and ended up going to music business. That was not even a passion of mine, and I wasted time doing that. So in that regard, like if you are focused on something and you believe that you want to do that, don't do it because your parents want you to go to college. That's one. Two, don't feel like you have to be like, oh well, in order to pay for school, I'm gonna go and join the army. Like, figure out exactly what you want to do, and in that sense, break it all the way down. Like, don't fear spending time doing that stuff, man. Like, and get you somebody that you can actually run this stuff through too.
yeah. It's
Like,
important that I'm looking for a new mentor myself. My dad is definitely a mentor, but like it's different now. Um,
yeah,
and I think it's important that you have somebody that is maybe in the field that you're trying to go into or that you're trying to navigate so they can be that person for you to be able to say, okay, what did you do to get to where you're at, and what steps and blah 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 blah. I think that's important.
yeah,
Don't and I'm gonna keep reminding you personally that UIC thing, man, was perfect for you. It was, once again, it was a space for you to realize this is not what I should be doing. Like, to be all honest, man, you should have been at Columbia personally. That's the school you should have gone to because it had everything that you were looking for. And I wasn't
literally.
part of that process of you making that decision. I dare say it'd be a little bit different, But you also went through it the way you were supposed to. You know what I'm saying? And I think what you said, you're 24 now, man. It's I remember 24 was stupid for me because I was like, I was teaching not just at CJA. I think at that moment, probably right at the beginning. I was in New Trier High School. Also, I was gigging a lot. I was bartending. I was living pretty fast. And it wasn't until I think I got married when I slowed down a bit. I went through a divorce too. I went through a whole bunch. I hit rock bottom. It's just like all those things I went through has only made me a stronger individual today, a better father, a better man, a better partner. The whole thing. Um, I think I don't look at any of those things as saying, man, I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so your UIC days, I'm saying it to kind of compare it. It's like those things that you went through, man, are perfect. Because now you have a perspective about, this is what I want to do. And here's what I need to be doing to achieve those goals. Um, we can go in deep, but it's like, because I know we don't have that kind of time, but it's, with young people, if young people are watching this, man, you know, invest in yourself. Learn about financial literacy, something that a lot of us don't know. And that's like, if you young right now, and I'm talking young is like, say you're under 25, get life insurance, get a whole policy.
Yeah,
It's
legit,
it's
please.
if you're healthy, and these companies would love to insure you for practically nothing. And it can be used as an investment piece. The dividends will pay for itself. The money, you know what I'm saying? You need a loan, you can go in on that. Start a Roth IRA and max it out at $6,000 a year. If you look at a calculator online, it'll show you have at least $500,000 by the time you're about 65 if you start early enough. You know what I'm saying? Those pieces that were not taught to me, that I had to learn along the way, that I keep trying to pass down to other people who are much younger than me, so they're successful.
Yeah.
Invest in real estate. Buy multi-unit family homes and buy them in communities that you can help uplift, because they're cheaper there and you can actually change the community itself. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Refinance, take 70% equity out, go buy another one. I mean, that's
Hmm.
like, if you're talking about financial freedom, that's where it is. It's just right there. It's all right there.
Yeah.
Get a group. If you don't have enough money, you and a group of people go in as investors together. I know plenty of young cats, man, that are like, they're getting their CDL license and they're starting trucking businesses. And those things, when I say pay, I'm like, man, I need to go get my CDL license. We're talking like
Man.
up 10 grand plus a month. I'm like, bro, okay, it's some hard work, but at the same time, what is it? You know? And it's like there's
Man.
there's so many ways for you to be successful financially. You got to think about that. And then there's
Real.
the other piece of, what do you love doing? You know what I'm saying? And if you can get all of that together, it's even better. Don't
All
sleep
time.
on don't sleep on what you love doing. It's life is short. It is super, super, super short. It is. We're here but a blink of an eye. You know what I'm saying? Don't make sense to
Real
me.
talk.
So
Man, that's okay. All right. Man, I love everything about that just happened. Real talk. But I want to make sure that we have time to really talk about
yeah.
the answer to this call.
Oh, the
Your
record.
latest release, dog. And that like you more than just like a teacher. You're an amazing musician. Like
Thanks, man.
let's and I don't even think that I've said that out of my mouth for you, like in front
No,
of
you
you,
have.
like that.
You haven't. You need to keep saying it though.
Yo, like when I say this man is cold, this dog is cold. Like it's. I think the really crazy thing is like even just the way you express yourself on trumpet and even in other instruments, like you're not afraid to really venture off just trumpet and going to piano, going to bass. Like when I was coming up and you trained us in rhythm section, you was on that bass. Like, listen, you gotta hold. I'm like, I thought he was just he was just playing like trumpet like 2 seconds ago. What's going on? But now, like real talk, you inspired me to be a multi instrumentalist. Real talk.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
dog. But what? How was it for you to be able to create something, and for now, like you having people actually listen to this and really enjoying your music, like where it is now?
It's funny, man. It's funny. When you say yes to yourself, things happen. I
Yeah.
I was so concerned about releasing my music. I was so concerned about folks liking it. I was concerned about myself liking it. I was concerned that it wasn't going to meet up to the jazz standard. Like, I'm being serious, man. It's wild when you live in this bubble of concern of acceptance, it can stop you. We stop ourselves more than anything. And I think this record was like one of those things where it was like, I told my lady, like I love therapy, and we were in the midst of some therapy sessions, and she brought up the fact that I said, "Well, I've already accomplished everything in my life." My arrogance, okay, and I'm like,
Mhm.
but when I think about it, I have, man, literally at almost 44, I did everything. I could honestly transition off of this world tomorrow or today if God wants me to, right? And know that I accomplished everything that I set out to do. Not a lot of people can say that. I've I've
Wow.
had I've had nice cars. I've traveled the world. I performed at the Sydney Opera House, something I wanted to do. I've been, what I'm saying? Like I've got a beautiful child that is amazing. I uh I did everything. The one thing I didn't do was make a record. That was the one thing. And she held me accountable on that in her own way. And I was like, all right. And so I said it during the pandemic. I had written some music. I had done some traveling too. I do a lot of writing. For me, the ocean is a strong force. It is the closest thing for me to God that you will actually really get to. Those waves and the vibration, that's Mother Earth for real. Like water, you got to respect it. And when I'm
All
near the
time.
ocean, man, when I'm near the ocean, man, that's why I do these little meditations that I've put on TikTok when I'm down at the lake, because that's the closest I can get to the water, living here. But when I go to LA, or if I've been lucky enough to get to, like down to Buenos, or where we were at, we were in Argentina or like Colombia. Anytime we're in Mexico, if I'm near that water, I create, I write a lot. Like literally, I've got about 100 ideas here that I'm grappling with right now that I've recorded over the last couple of years, and I'm just like, I need to work on these ideas.
Mhm.
Um, and they inspire me. So as I was writing this, I didn't set out to record a record. I set out to record my music. That's what it was. And as I was writing this music, it just started coming to me about what I wanted to say. And so each piece I wrote a narrative about, like every piece had something to do with something. The ancestors call, and some of the music I had written many years ago just never really, I kind of redid it a little bit to fit the band and kind of the vibe what was going on. What the first tune, the ancestors call, if cats listen to it, starts off with the drums up front, and it's the call from the African diaspora. Man, it's like you gonna feel like that 6/8 feel. You know what I'm saying? We
Whew.
that's us. That's us.
Yeah.
That hands down, that's us. And then you throw the melody on top. But to me, that was the name of that tune is the ancestors call upon us, and that is for me is like I am diving back to find the strength that I need in order to live my life fully. You know what I'm saying? And then the second piece I believe is a generational response, and that's got a
Yeah.
really cold bass line up front. And I envision it's like the story I see is like these old our ancestors over here yelling at us like, "Yo, wake up! Here, listen." And then
Yeah.
there's this generational response of like, "We hear you, we hear you." You know what I'm saying? Like that's the story.
The
That's
call
what
and
I see.
response. Yeah.
Right, the call and response in it too. That's the visualization. I think the next piece was called "Assemble the Enlightened," and that piece is like I thought about like once we grab that information and we're responding, now we're assembling everybody, and it's like, and when I say enlightened, there's going to be people that are awake on the same wavelength, and then there's going to be people who are not, and those are the ones you're supposed to bring in here too. You're supposed to grab everybody, get everybody on the same page. And for me it was dealing with like our black culture and who we are as black people in this country. That's specifically what it's dealing with. But then this and then if we expand it, it's for everybody as well. Like everybody needs to wake up, listen to the ancestors, wake up. You know, there's a tune after that called "Beyond the Battle." And that tune is chaos all at the front end, and it kind of goes into this like really killing groove. Greg Archery's on drums; he's dope. Um, and that groove, that tune is all is basically what it is. Beyond the battle, it's us fighting, and it's not a physical fight, although it might be, but it's the fight of life. It's the fight of us, trying to get past this chaos that we're all living in. I think the next tune was Aries Goddess for Consuela and the Fallen. And I wrote that for a friend of mine who had lost her son to gun violence. I knew this kid when he was like 10. His mom, I was in the midst of writing this piece and it wasn't done yet. She said that I had seen her post something. I was like, what's going on? And she was just distraught, man. Her son, I think, was set up by maybe some homies of his. You know how they do, they shot him, and I think she found him like a block away from her house. I think he was trying to get home. You know what I'm saying? Like that's you know, and it's not the only story like that. So my goal was to write a healing piece. We made a video with that too, which was really dope. With Sharon Irvin, vocalist. We recorded down off of 83rd in South Shore. It was cold. It was a cold-blooded piece, and she's singing as the mother and put the lyrics. It's the only thing that has lyrics on that record. It's a beautiful piece. And then the second to last tune is called Resolution for Us. And it's got this kind of really nice minor vibe of everybody kind of resolving after all the turmoil, the chaos, the whole thing. It was kind of like a big breath. And then the last tune is called The Ancestors' Final Words. And once again, it's kind of like we full circle back to the ancestors again, saying like, all right, now what y'all gonna do? And my vision for that is like, I see this old brother, wearing some overalls on a porch in like a rocking chair or something, man. And there's people, I'm serious, it's funny because I'm technically from the South. Missouri is a southern state, and I grew up in this kind of ideology, and it's like I can see this man speaking. I can see people sitting at his footsteps, at his feet, listening. I can see people passing by saying, what are they doing? I see people stopping. I see other people like, man, he's full of it, which is society. You got people that are just like that, and that's the gist of the whole record, man. It's about calling within our own personal strength to be better folks and understanding that we all got a part to play in it. That was my goal with that record. When we recorded, though, we recorded 3 days straight, and we recorded 52 tracks. And out of that, I got a second record. So the second record is on its way out too. So
yo,
yeah. So that one, and that's more inspired by family and people who've inspired me along the way. I haven't figured out the name of that record yet or what we're gonna do production wise. I'm learning a lot. Like I realize, like as I create, there's more to it than just like people who make jazz records. They're funny because they're like, I'm making a jazz record and I'm gonna put it out, right? It's like, no, man. I'm trying to create art that's challenging, and feels good and has groove, make you happy, tap your feet, make you think. So I'm thinking about the production side of this third record I'm about to make, because I'm about to make a third and fourth one. One being music that has been inspired and tells the story of Black artists that I've been checking out, visual artists, which is really cool. And I think I'm going to write a whole suite about Claudette Colvin and Rosa Parks, since I've been working on this book to bring awareness to who she was. Like that's what I'm realizing is that the creativity and the fun that I want to have is about telling the stories that need to be told, and because that way people understand. We wake up together. That's the whole purpose of that first record, man. And the funny thing is we got a Grammy consideration for that record. I was laughing about it. My buddy hit me up,
yo,
emailed me. He's like, "Yo, man, just let you know you got a Grammy consideration for best jazz album of the year." I was like, "We ain't gonna win, but it's cool because I know how the game is." I'm dead serious, man. I know what the game is. Like
oh man,
I created my own record label and released it. I had Lydia Liebman in PR Productions, help us out. We got some great reviews. The whole thing. People have been buying the record. Uh, and if for those listening, don't go support Spotify. I'm trying to burn them down. We get
Man,
no, we get nothing from a stream. If you're gonna buy directly from me. Go to marcuscarrollmusic.com. Go to my
look,
Bandcamp page. You look at you, my man.
I had it ready. I'm like, yo, just
Yeah,
go there. Like,
I'm being dead serious, man. Like I support my musician friends and other artists directly. I do not
yeah,
stream. I hate it because these people, and it sucks because it's like my buddy's like, well, how you gonna get your music out? I said I will figure out how to make a campaign to do it on my own, but
yeah,
I can't support somebody who is robbing me. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't make sense. I don't care, and I don't care if I'm not as big as a Jay-Z or any other hip hop or pop artist. It doesn't. That's not what that's about. It's about the integrity. You know what I'm saying?
uh,
So, but yeah, that's what the record's about, man. It was a beautiful thing. It was cool. The guys that were on the record, I told them I was like, some of them like to do extracurricular. You know what I mean? You know how musicians are, and I'm just like, we ain't doing that. I said I want you to be clear minded. I'm like, I gave them a write out of what the record was about, what each tune was about, so they knew what the storyline was. And I was like, we ain't gonna eat no pizza, nothing heavy, ain't no drinking on this session. We was a 3-day session. I said I want clear minds because I want the spirit to be clear to receive the message. And
yo,
that came about when I was talking with my engineer. He was, he's like this and that and that. And I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I want to be in that. If I'm going to create something, I'm going to release. And it was dope, man, because I'm gonna tell you, like, you can write sketches, right? You write these sketches right here. You have no idea what it can really do until you get like-minded people together. And the
yeah,
funny thing is, man, is as we was putting as we recorded it, I was like, man, that sounds pretty good. Okay, I was like getting happy about the stuff I was
yo,
creating. And I didn't listen to anybody's music for about 3 or 4 months, man. I listened to nothing, and I'm not trying to sound conceited, but I was like, I was happy with what I created for the first time in my
yeah,
life ever. Happy. I was like, this is good music. I did that. And the dopest thing about it is when I'm gone physically, I'm still gonna be here. You can't erase that.
seriously, like,
You
man,
can't you can't you can't erase me, man. My DNA is going. There will be a kid, if society is what it is 100 years from now, might be doing a report about jazz musicians from Chicago. My name's gonna pop up.
yeah,
That record's
of
gonna pop
course,
up. They'll get a chance to understand what that record was about, why I wrote it. Like we have a responsibility. I believe that.
yeah,
That's why I'm trying to create the way I am. That's why I'm trying to help influence and inspire young people to be their authentic selves because they got to do the same thing. It's our responsibility. Nothing against cats that want to make money. Like I was watching, who's that? Who's that dude? Kodak Black. I was online the other day,
uh,
scrolling through Instagram, and I'm just looking at this brother. Apparently recently just got shot in the leg or something. And he went on
mhm,
Instagram Live, and he's sitting there with some other brother in the bed, shirts off, chilling with their little money, you know. Bro, I did not understand anything this man said. Not one real word. You feel me? Her. I'm like, and listen, if you like the dude, that's cool. Once again, I'm not judging at all. I'm trying not to, but I'm just like, no, what do you, what impact are you having that's a positive impact?
yeah,
Like, even if you entertaining, bro, like for real, that's so you gonna help another little young brother think it's cool to get shot and it's all about the money and like
man.
listen, look, who are these two little white dudes out in Florida? What's that? I'm a
You talking about
I'm a
the island
I'm a
people?
I'm an island boy.
Oh God, no.
What do you say? What do you say? I'm a Dodge driving something. I'm like, come on, homie,
I
listen,
stopped
listen.
listening after the first 30 seconds, man. Real
I'm
talk.
just like, I look at that and I'm just like, this is what's wrong with society. Like, y'all are messed up. Like, this is what
Man.
you were inspired by for real. This, not everybody, but there is a nice chunk of people that's like, that's what's up. Like, what are you doing? Like, I got a chance to play at the Juice World um thing at
Yeah, I
United
saw
in
you.
December. Yeah. So I got a call to do that, and I don't like doing a lot of the hip hop stuff because they don't pay directly on time. You know what I'm saying? And the woman that called me, she's amazing. Her name is Nicole Neely. She is burning. Great composer, violinist, orchestra, like she cold. And so she put this thing together, and I even asked, I was like, what's the turnaround on the pay? I was like, all right, I'll do it. And it took them forever. Of course, there was some, oh, well, I'm like, I don't even want to hear it. I'm just like, as long as I got my check. But I didn't know too much about Juice World, to be honest, man. So I did my homework like I do when I do any gig, and I checked his music out. I was like, man, this brother was troubled. This brother dealt with some demons, man, and the people around him did nothing to help him. They used
At
him.
all.
And it was
At
also
all.
when and being in that United Center, man, like it was crazy because like the people that really love that little brother, man, like you can see it, man. Just like folks, they're struggling, and that was a voice for them. You know what I'm saying? There was hope for them. I don't, he was rapping about life. He was rapping about his reality, and he was affecting people. You know what I'm saying? Like I can get down with that. I don't, agree with everybody who's like. I told somebody the other day, anybody that rap name starts with Lil lets me know that they ain't about anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sorry. You can hate me if you want
I
to, but I'm like, I don't listen. I'm once again old school. When the halftime show happened this past week, a couple weeks ago, I was like, yes, real
yeah.
music. That was the blackest. That was
Hey,
the listen. Let me tell you something. That was the blackest halftime show I have ever seen on the NFL. Considering that 70% of people who play the game are black, like 70% of NFL
look,
is black. One black coach, no black owners, and then the blackest halftime show ever. I'm just like, something's got to give. I wish
look,
70. Listen, I wish all the players who are black in the NFL and the not head coaches but offensive line coaches and defensive line just stop working and started their own thing. You would not have an NFL at all.
no.
There would be no. Listen, if cats knew what their worth was and was patient about making a living doing what they do, they would bankrupt that organization. There would be no NFL. Same with the NBA. You would bankrupt these
That's
people. You would
man.
bankrupt them. They would not exist. Not exist. I know I'm going on a tangent, but I'm just saying it's you
That,
know. But
look,
that Juice World thing was dope because it was like I got to see and be a part of something that was like, man, this dude's music was like he was reaching. I think he was doing it not just for himself but other people. Like that was the first time for me as a kind of a middle aged man being able to see that as seeing a younger artist who's no longer with us. Like even like Mac Miller, man. I was like when he passed, I was like, who's Mac Miller? I was one of them cats like I don't know who this cat is. I don't. My daughter messes with me all the time. She's like, you don't know anything. I'm just like, okay, here we go. And but when I started diving into his music, I was like, oh, he cold. And I think it was like, what's the use was the one I heard because I saw it on a tiny desk with he was with Thundercat, and that
yeah.
doo 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 doo
Mm-hmm.
that bass line was what got me. And I was like, who's this dude? And then I found out my boy Keon played on some records with him. I was like, oh, okay, let me go check this dude out. And I listened to his lyrics though too, and I was like, man, that's another trouble cat. I love artists who are vulnerable, that because it allows them to share with folks to get uplifted. We're all, we're all connected, man. Just because, I've had some people like, oh, you're Marcus Carroll. I'm like, dude, how are you? I'm a regular dude. I like grilled cheese sandwiches. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a regular dude, man. Like there's
Yo,
no if I were to ever become like a straight up millionaire kind of cat, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
In the limelight, whatever that is, whatever that means, I'm still gonna be the same dude. Like, I will give people my time, to the best of my ability without diminishing myself. I think that's what, we need to remember, you know. positivity, all this other crap that's happening, man, is destroying us. It really is. It's destroying us, you know.
man. But
So that's
it's honestly like with that. Oh, I'm sorry. Was you saying something?
you know what I'm saying. So that's the gist. I know we went. I you know me. I sometimes sidestep, but that's the gist of the record, though, of why I wrote it and what it's about. You know.
Yeah, man. It's cold. So I listened to it one time straight through and was like, okay, I need to go back. Like I gotta start. And I'm gonna be honest, like you actually like spoke on something that was really crazy. And we actually are pretty much past the end of it, so we gotta close it out. But
No, it's all good.
you really talked about just supporting artists directly on. Like the fact that streaming is the revenue of it is it's nothing pretty much.
Yeah.
So even just listening to it, it's really for the consumer and not for the artist. But if you start supporting the artist to be able to do something like that, they can continue to do something and be able to have the resources to be like, okay, cool, let me pay this person and pay this person on a scale. They don't have to like rely on if there's a situation where they're relying on the revenue from Spotify. So
Right. Right. Yeah,
yeah,
I don't rely on that. I bank on myself. I've taken out loans, and been able to pay those things back. And it's not a profit, doing what I do is not a profitable thing as an artist just yet. I'm going to say just yet because I have no idea what's in store for me over the next 2 to 5 years as I'm resetting goals. Um, but I think this was a great starting point for me to be comfortable with releasing something that I was holding close to my heart. Uh,
yeah,
what I mean? That this record was very personal and personable. You know what I'm saying? And the second one is too, because it's got a lot to do with my family. So yeah,
man,
I think it's important, and I'm gonna keep releasing music, and if folks dig it, they dig it. If they don't, they don't. We all got. I'll leave you guys with this, man. We all have a voice, and I said it earlier. We all have something that's in us that is very unique, and that is us, and we're supposed to make sure we nourish that, we grow it, and we release it because that's why we're here. That movie Soul. Have you seen that little man? Somebody called me
yeah.
up. You got to watch this, man. It's just like you. I was like, get out of here, whatever.
Hey, whole time when I was watching, I was like, yeah,
I
yeah,
was like, and what's funny about it is though, I can relate to it. I was like, I know what that feels like as a musician, where you're like, I just want to play and I want to gig and I want to tour. And man, that's what life's about. I'm not trying to teach. He fought. That was his struggle, right? That was his
yeah,
battle about life, right? And I watched it. I was like, man, it is so me. God, oh, this is killing me watching this. It's become my favorite movie, man. Anytime I'm feeling a
yeah,
little distracted or not on point, I actually go watch that movie just as a reminder for myself to be like, yo, homie, yeah, it's about the gigs and it's about touring and sharing your music, but it's also about this other piece and it's about living, you know what I'm saying? Purposefully. Like that, like the fact that he came into like this resolve of like, okay, because when he got done with the gig, he's like, so what do we do next? Oh, we come back here tomorrow, we do it again. He's just
they
like,
do the same thing.
he's like, wait a minute, this ain't, and I'm like, right. I toured with Count Basie Orchestra, a band that I wanted to be in
Yeah,
for years. That's not a lot of people can say that, you know. And
I
I
don't
was
know.
with them about 2.5 years or so. And after I did it, I was like, yeah, that's cool. It's not what I want to do the rest of my life, though. The music's great. The family I created, that I was able to grow with was dope. But I'm like, man, that ain't it. That ain't all of it, you know. And I'm still trying to figure it out. So
Yeah,
know that it takes time. And I'm gonna keep reminding you that too. Whatever you said, brother, like, use your resources, use the people that are in your circle, your tribe. Remember this, you have a tribe. And my buddy told me is that like you look at your Instagram, your social media, you get all these likes and people are liking you, like. They follow me. Are they your tribe? Or are they just folks that are checking you out?
yeah.
You
That's
create because you
man.
you'll know who your tribe is when you post something. This is my litmus test for knowing who my tribe is. When I post something on social media, specifically Instagram, and I have an admin guy that does all my stuff behind scenes because I don't have the patience and time for it anymore. And we walk through a schedule. Actually, I need to respond to him today too. Mark Hale is his name. Great guy. Also,
Shout out Marques.
used to be a student of mine. So it's really dope because when I post something, I look at who responds, who likes, and it's usually the same kind of folks, right? I get new people every now and again, which is great. I got what 3,300 followers maybe on Instagram. I don't. It doesn't matter to me. What matters is I put something out and I reach my tribe because the tribe are the ones who are like, man, this moved me, or I shared this with somebody, or when are you playing again? Like to me, those I'm doing it for myself first and for God, like literally being the beacon, and then for folks around me. I'm not writing music for other musicians and other artists. I'm writing it for regular people, us. It. You'll find out who your tribe is. Trust me.
It's crazy. Like you really are talking good, bro, and you literally are in my head. Like what? It's like you took this time. You like, hey, we gonna talk while we on this interview. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
because we ain't talked in a minute though, bro. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
you gonna call me to be on this. Listen, we all busy. I get that, but like
no,
it's the proof's in the pudding, man. Like I've got a young man that I mentored. He went to CJ too. He's behind you, of course, and he's in college now. And this kid, I mentored him literally before he went off to college. I was like, you need to do this, 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 and he would kind of do it, and he slipped, kind of doing a slip. And I finally was like, I can't work with this cat no more. Like he would call me like, yo, man, you'll figure it out. Like I done gave you everything. And most recently, he's just like, I'm in the gym. I'm back in the gym. I'm feeling good. Or he sent me a text of like, I just started my 401k. Just like all those little seeds. See, I plant seeds and I nourish it just enough. You ever plant a small little plant and watch that little thing pop up? When that thing pops up, I know I did my job because after that, it's going to continue to grow because it's in there. Everything I've given you is there. Everything. You know what I'm saying? And it'll continue to grow into this amazing, strong, beautiful tree or plant, whatever it is that you're trying to grow. But it's just not going to happen in the time that you want it to. And you got to be patient with that. I'm watching this young man and I'm like, he's starting to figure it out. I said, and I'm like, man, I'm proud of you. Great. And the same as with you, man. I'm proud of you. You know what I'm saying? You're doing something that you love doing. Like this your thing. Like, if you can figure out, well, it is. It's what you do. If you love people, you love trying to help people, and you love being in a platform where you're creating, man. If you can continue to grow this and figure out also how to make it profitable for yourself on a financial way, but also just you feel good about it, and you're affecting change within your community, man.
yeah.
What people got to say? Come on, for real. Because what they gonna say? What they gonna say?
Nothing at
No,
all.
right.
Except for thank you.
My point exactly, man. Keep being yourself, brother. And
Man,
the folks
thank you.
in your tribe that's following you right now, keep being yourselves. That's it.
Man,
We get one crack at this, man. That's it, as far as we know. One crack.
Thank you so much for everything that you literally just gave like multiple ways to just start and keep going. And I love the fact that you really just you inspire me every day. Honestly, I still think about the stuff that we talked about even while I'm at work, while I'm doing this, while I'm still playing everywhere. Actually, I just got done doing production for Richard Gallion. I was playing keys for him. So
I'm not familiar with who he is, but that's good.
yeah, no, it was really crazy. I'll tell you about it afterwards. But
Okay.
yeah, it was really cool. Like just to think about stuff that you said and even the seeds that you planted. In my head, I just keep playing them in my head. Like, yo, okay, do this, do this, do that. Make sure you ain't falling behind. So whole time, like you really are. You really help me with everything. So thank you. Period.
Yeah, man.
Thank you, bro.
Hey, bro,
Yes,
it's all love, man. I want the people that I come in contact with to be successful. be a better version of themselves, and I want to be a better version of myself. That's that's it, man. That's the whole point, right?
Yes, sir. All the time. But
Yeah.
look, we gotta go ahead
go.
and head up out. Yeah. Look, saying the same thing. But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and get up out of here. Thank you so much for everything. I appreciate you for tuning in. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pull you to the back. If you need to leave, like literally, if you need to dip out, I understand. So that's totally fine.
No, it's all good. I'll sit tight.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Thank you so much for everything. Yo. Okay, y'all got literally a masterclass. I was sitting here in class, like I felt like, and I'm not even like joking. I literally felt like I was back in 7th grade, 8th grade, just chilling and listening to this man talk. Like it's something different when you get to be able to really hear from your people. And he's been rooting for me since day one, and to like just to see that he's not only well, but he is happy. I can hear it in his voice, and man, I just talking about Amber, why are you okay? Talking about some, I feel smarter. Look, anytime he talk, you should feel smarter, man. Real talk. But make sure that you guys are following him on his Instagram page, and also please, before anything else, go to marquescarrollmusic.com and purchase. Do not stream the music. Purchase the music. The funds go straight to the man. They don't go through Spotify to get to him where he don't even see pennies. Like, just go straight there. Purchase the music. Get it. And y'all already know, like, I'm literally planning on doing that immediately. So make sure that you guys are purchasing his music. And man, I'm thankful for real. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and cut up out of here. If you guys are not following F2G, make sure that you're following us on all of our social media platforms. I'm gonna go ahead and put it up for you guys to be able to do that. And also make sure that you guys are treating this week different. It's Monday. We're literally 7 days away from March. And like Mr. Carroll was saying, like, whole time you are going into the last month of the first quarter of the year. What are you doing that's actually going to not only make an impact, but also what's your plan? What's your goal? So yeah. And for tomorrow we got Casual Combo with Kelly Webb. I'm pretty excited about that as well. So make sure you guys are tuning in for that. But we're gonna go ahead and cut up out of here. I love you guys so much. And yeah, I'll be talking to you soon.
I be feeling and make it right. You tell me keep going, everything will be alright. Oh, you can't stand to see me tight, and you.